comic news.
Yes, comic news.
Diamond is sticking with Wednesday on sale dates.
Okay.
So this is in reply to DC. They're still doing their Tuesday industry-wide on sale date. So basically, DC have said that because obviously with the pandemic, DC Diamond, the distributors, they weren't distributing comics obviously because no shops were open. So DC moved on to a couple of different other distributors, and they changed it to Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is when comics come out. But DC wanted to bring in line a line with book trades and home video markets, because those come out on Tuesdays. So DC wanted to bring out the comics at the same time as those. But now, obviously, everything's kind of slowly getting back to normal. Diamond is saying that they're going to stick with Wednesdays, release days, like it always has been. DC has said if you want, you can release your comics on Tuesdays, or you can do it on Wednesdays. So, but yeah, Diamond's sticking with the Wednesdays.
I feel like mommy and daddy is just fighting over the children.
Yeah.
So it's like, just pick a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the best thing you can do is just step aside, let them deal with it.
I'm just going to Abigail's house because all of this arguing smash. So yeah, I mean, just give us the comic. Yeah. Just give us the damn comic.
If you,
it's just been long.
Say it again.
I was just saying, stop being long. Them, the people, just get on.
All right. So if you had a comic shop, then would you release your DC comics on Tuesdays, or would you wait till Wednesdays?
You know, I liked Wednesdays for Comic Book Day. It just seemed like a nice medium. I don't know. I feel like because Tuesday is pretty much the beginning of the week, going to get comics is just a bit. I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I don't even know how I'm trying to articulate this. I prefer Wednesday. Wednesday just seems right. Wednesday comes. Comic books, you're closest to the weekend to get through. Yeah. Tuesday, it's kind of like,
yeah. And Wednesdays it's such a staple. Like they've been doing Wednesday for so many decades.
It's for 20 years, I think it has been. It's been going on for 20 years.
I mean,
I was thinking, if it ain't, were you about to say
it? There we go. Just say it.
If it ain't, no.
There we go. You know what I mean? And having to do a DC thing that I'm gonna have to all right, cool. All the DC people, I'm gonna have to remind them, come here on Tuesday. Come here. That's 20 years worth of work. Just take it out on a Wednesday.
To be honest as well, I feel like, because I get what DC are doing, branch out and do their own things, but let's be real. We don't just read DC comic books. DC, you don't own the industry of comics.
No.
So if you're releasing your comics on Tuesday, unless there's something like Batman Damned, remember how that was just crazy. Unless there's something like that, you have to get it then and there.
Yeah.
It's gonna pick everything up on Wednesday anyway.
Yeah, you might as well.
Sean was saying. Friend Sean was saying. Remember when it used to be Thursdays in the UK? When Thursdays were the days when comics used to come out. Back in the days when we were, when Orbital was on, what's that street called? Was it? No, not Old Compton Street.
It was the one next. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was the one where you're coming in to where Tottenham Court Road is, but before Tottenham Court Road. The thing, yes.
Planet.
For Forbidden Planet used to be somewhere else as well.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah,
I used to really like that Forbidden Planet. The
yeah,
one. I really liked
that. Yeah, me too. It felt good.
It felt homely. Sorry. Now it's just so. Every time I'm in there, I'm like, you like fans, you're fans. Yeah. Where were you lot when I went to talk about comic books in school? You lot weren't there.
I know. Yeah.
And the girls. Where are all these girls coming from? Girls in the comic book shop. What the shit?
I know, right? We've been here for time. I was the time it got you, girl. Before the time it got you, people.
I digress. No, I don't remember the Thursday.
No.
I'm old enough to.
Yeah, I remember Thursdays. Those were the days.
Yeah. Those were. Oh well.
Staying on the subject of DC, kind of switching things around. DCeased, Hope at World's End is a new digital first spin-off. So
what's with the World's End thing? Star Trek World's End. This the World's End. Carry on.
So, has anyone been reading DCeased?
No.
I read the original. I got the graphic novel. The DCeased was sick. I haven't read the ones after it. I forgot what they're called, but they're supposed to be really good. So, I'm just gonna get the graphic novel.
We've got actually today we've got Unkillables was out, and DC's Hope at World's End. That's a new one, but this one is a digital only release. And this is something that DC has announced that they're going to do. So this is coming from CBR.com. DC has announced a new addition to its digital first catalogue, DC's Hope at World's End by writer Tom Taylor and artist Dustin Nguyen, and Renato Guarez and Sermaine Di Guandomenico and Marco Fila. Goes on sale. Jeez. I'm sure I butchered someone's name there.
No, we love it. We love it.
I would have read them, but I can't read the script today because I'm using the phone.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Goes on sale digitally today, and is a spin-off of the hit DC series that documents the events that took place on before Earth fell to zombie anti-life equation. So DCeased Hope at Earth's End follows Superman and Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Stephanie Brown, Wally West, Jimmy Olsen, and more.
Sorry.
You said the name. You said the name.
Wally West.
Superman.
Yeah.
No. Is this the prequel comic?
So
is this like?
You didn't let me finish. Yeah. So DCeased Hope at World's End follows Superman and Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Stephanie Brown, Wally West, Jimmy Olsen, and more, and takes place in the span of the DCeased issue 5's time jump. It will publish digitally twice a month and run for a total of 14 chapters. So this is what Tom Taylor said before you, because I'm still explaining it. There was a point in DC's where we had to make a decision to skip weeks of losses and triumphs and heroism, or our first mini-series wouldn't exactly be a mini-series. But we knew we had a larger story to tell, so we seeded plots we could expand on and deliberately left huge characters off the table for the future. The future is here. With
right.
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
Alright, with Hope at World's End, we finally get to tell the tale of what Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Black Adam, Wink, the Airy, Martian Manhunter, Black Manta, Steph Brown, Robin, Superboy, and more did to save as much of humanity as they could. And Super Sons fans won't want to miss the apocalyptic adventures of Damian and John as they stand up to the worst crisis on the Earth has ever seen and take their first steps on the road to becoming the next world's finest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 Okay.
Right?
It's all
Got
good
it?
now. It's all good.
Good.
It makes sense now. I thought they screwed themselves over because I was going to get all up in that shit and just tell you about yourself, but no.
Sweet.
I could feel
Superman.
the rant coming. He was like,
Superman.
What?
So what? Wasn't Superman in this? I didn't read this DC, so...
Rich, especially you getting into DC now, even the recent year or so it's been, you would love DC. It's so good.
I was watching a little plug for Comics Explained, but I was watching videos of his about the Unkillables, which seemed like it was actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like, you know, they did Marvel Zombies, and obviously like DC is very clever because I always used to think, why hasn't DC done a Civil War? And I was like, wait a minute, that was Injustice.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
And then I was like, they haven't done a Marvel Zombies. DCeased is like basically they're Marvel zombies, but it's not. They're not zombies like in Marvel. It's like the anti-life equation. It's like digital. It's in the internet, and the whole world is like internet. So there's no escape. This was really well done. Really well.
Yeah. So basically, what it is that Darkseid infects Cyborg. Darkseid infects Cyborg, and basically it's all digital. So if you look at your phone, if you look at a computer, if you look at anything, if you look at anything digital, you get infected. So and obviously, if you're infected, you can bite someone or scratch someone, and they get infected as well. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's going in one of my highlights. Oh, that was amazing. You two need a show. Go ahead.
I mean, there's butchering names, but then there's just straight up ignorant.
No, I call it taking a piss. Just like that blue avatar, man. That man's down with that.
Hey, look, universe, we didn't mean to say it. Okay, leave the internet alone. Leave it alone. Okay, cool, let's go. We need to get through the rest of the show.
So
move on.
Oh my god. Okay, yes.
I will say, if you've not read DCeased out there, everybody, I highly recommend this book. I really do.
Yeah.
This could happen.
Yeah. Mate. Oh, do you know? Let me get to that in a bit. Joshua Williamson to conclude Flash run with Finish Line. You still reading Flash, Karen?
I still collect Flash.
Words spoken by a true comic book reader.
I can't even remember the last issue I read. Like I'm actually at a point now where I had to cancel some comic books, and I'm really hoping that the Flash wasn't one of them that I cancelled. Because if this guy's ending his run, I would love to read everything. I would love to have everything.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't. I don't think I would have cancelled the Flash. But
long-time Flash writer Joshua Williamson, who has written the series since Rebirth relaunch in 2006, has announced he will conclude his run on the title with the story title Finish Line. Finish Line will follow the current Legion of Zoom arc and will run from Flash 759 to 762. It centers on Zoom taking over Barry Allen's body. Williamson tweeted art from the arc yesterday with CBR. This story is coming from Newsarama. With CBR following that up with confirmation that Williamson's tenure on Flash is concluding alongside solicitations for the first 2 issues of the Finish Line arc, and covers for all Force 4 can be seen in their link, which I can't give you right now. But yeah, that's Flash and Joshua Williamson. Would you? I was reading Flash, but I dropped off it. But what are you saying about Joshua Williamson's art?
He was really good. Rebirth, as in original Rebirth.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, 16.
Yeah, that was dope. That was. I mean, that's when they brought back Barry Allen. Although the only thing I don't like is that Wally West had to sit on the back burner. But they brought him back, and then obviously from reading like New Rebirth and all that, he was pretty good. He had some good storylines. He really did. He did do some things where sometimes I got bored.
Yeah.
Like the Flash had to go on this kind of world tour because of the what storyline was that? Where there was like these things going around the world giving people powers. I forgot what that was like. I talked about in the podcast before.
Oh, the with that
centipede. I'm just gonna call it
centipede. You read something as well, Rich.
With all the Flash, like they'll go around giving people powers, yeah, like Flash, like speed force powers.
Yeah, that's it. It was that storyline. I didn't really enjoy it that much. He does some things where sometimes I'm like, let's move this along. And to be honest, although he's good, the majority of what I've read is good, but sometimes I get bored.
Yeah.
And what you just said about Reverse Flash taking over his mind. I can't stand those kind of storylines, like where it messes with the status quo in that way. Not because I want it to go. I mean, I do want it to go back to the status quo, but like I flat out just stopped reading Nightwing because he lost his memory. And every time I'm reading something like that, I'm waiting for his memory or the person who's taken up their mind. It's long. Can
I just give one example of something that someone that actually did that, and it was actually pretty good, even though I wasn't reading it at the time. But yeah, exactly. Superior Spider-Man.
I was thinking as you were talking, that's the only time I can think of where I think it was a good idea and B, done amazingly. But whenever it's done, it's like, you know, you're just waiting for it to come back. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a shame that he's leaving the run. It's kind of like when Jason Aaron left for. Do you know? It's like a big deal. Yeah, sad to see him go, really, if I'm honest. But give someone else the opportunity to possibly do something with the Flash.
Do something different. Not the same.
Switching his body and whatever. That's just not how I would end his run, man. I'll do
some Centipede. I don't know what I would.
Is there a Flash villain with Centipede? I know there's one.
I was actually just thinking it was. Maybe you should create one.
There you go. Centipede.
Centipedes from the Speed Force. Yeah, do that.
There we go.
With 1,000 legs.
There we go.
So, last one in the comic news. Duncan Jones has new Kickstarter comic, Madi. So filmmaker, this is from Newsarama. Filmmaker Duncan Jones, the son of late musician David Bowie, has launched a Kickstarter campaign for his new project, a comic book titled Madi, which he created with a variety of well-known comic creators. Jones wrote Madi alongside Alex DeCampi and a host of artists including Dylan TG, Glenn Fabry, Duncan Figueredo, LRNZ, Ed O'Connor, Andre. There's
Simon.
There's loads of names, and I'm gonna butcher them all.
The last one is Kelly
Kelly Fitzpatrick. That was easy enough.
There we go.
Maddie.
Actually, when it was Kelly Kelly, I was like, who did that to their child?
Kelly. Isn't there a character called Kelly? Or Carrie Kelly? Or Kelly? What's it?
Carrie. Probably. That sounds like a Marvel thing.
I think it's... No, it's
she's
DC.
DC, actually.
Yeah, she's a Robin, right?
She's Robin, yeah. She was the Robin from... what's that storyline called?
The Robin?
Nighttime.
Dark Knight Returns.
Right.
Yeah.
Kelly, bless.
Many set in the same sci-fi universe as Jones's film Moon and Mute, though a totally standalone story focuses on a special forces agent, the eponymous Madi, who has one last globe-spanning mission to survive. Here's the official synopsis for the Kickstarter page. Madi Preston, a veteran of Britain's Intelligent Special Operations J Squad unit, is burnt out and up to her eyeballs in debt. She and the rest of her team have retired from the military but are now trapped, having to pay to service and maintain the technology put into them during their years of service. They're working for British conglomerate Liberty Inc. as mercenaries, selling their unique ability to be remote controlled by specialists while in the field, and the depths are only growing as they get injured completing missions. We meet Madi as she decides she's had enough. She will take an off-the-books job that should earn her enough to pay out her and her sister, but when the piece of tech she's supposed to steal turns out to be a kid, and she suddenly blacks out, she finds herself on the run from everyone she's ever known. Damn, this sounds actually pretty sick.
Sounds quite good.
Pretty epic.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched Mute on Netflix, it's actually quite bad. It's actually quite good. Sorry.
I was going to say that about Moon because I haven't seen Mute, but I have seen Moon.
I haven't seen Moon, so I need to watch Moon, and everybody else needs to watch Mute. So yeah, but Mute, I haven't seen either. And that's okay. Now, Mute's actually good, so yeah. So yeah,
We
okay,
need
cool.
something in the group to mix it up. Someone who hasn't seen or watched or read something. Otherwise, sometimes I watched and read stuff and you guys ain't seen shit. So.
Exactly.
No, that's half of the DC stuff you're not talking about. I'm just like,
Nah.
centipedes.
Moon.
Yes.
Moon. So with Moon was kind of a effed up film actually. I need to watch it again, and it is one of those that you kind of have to watch again because there's some madness going on, and you're like, what the? I wonder, is Mute like that as well? Is there something like? Yeah,
it's kind of there's like a guy who's mute. He just doesn't talk at all whatsoever, and he's looking for someone, and it's just the situation just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going down the rabbit hole, but it's really good. Like, it's really well done, and the guy who plays the guy, I've seen him before, but I can't remember his name. But no, it's a really good, like, it's a nice little slow burner, but it's worth the kind of weight kind of thing in gold kind of thing. So yeah, that's not bad.
Cool,
it's not bad.
Cool.
It's not bad. I need to watch Moon.
Definitely, man. Alright, so that was the comic news.